women in the music business in 1979 were just laughed at.
I want to say something through lyrics. So I wrote shoplifting, which I was very good at, by the way. And what else? Number one enemy. Okay, this shows that anger there, you know, I'm not going to listen to you and carry knives and chains. Not that I really did, you know, to be honest. Like, and actually, no, I had a flat knife. That's not true. But it was like kind of just for fun. I wasn't that tough.
One of the key aspects of punk, as you know, that's often associated with it, is the whole DIY aspect, do it yourself. And you know, for example, Paul Simonon of the Clash had barely picked up a bass before he did his first gig. But in the case of the women around, it was even more so because, you know, most of us hadn't had access to instruments. It was so much more a boys' thing. You know, we'd been more, you know, traditionally cooking or something like that. And so it was a bold move when, you know, we picked up guitars and so on. And so we had even less background than them because they'd been probably mucking around since they were younger. So there was quite a lot of learning on the job, and partly because of that, some new approaches to the instruments. Partly, you know, lack of, you know, we weren't Jaco Pastorius, say, you know, super technique, right?
I had to play the drums and they started yelling, you know, like screaming like there's no tomorrow, and I'm playing it like there's no tomorrow. But guess what happened? I hit the drum set and the drum set just flies away. So what do I have to do? I hit it, grab it, bring it back, hit it, grab it, bring it back. It was like an aerobic exercise. In the midst of it, then Ari starts yelling at me that it's offbeat.
But at the same time, there's a different feeling and a different openness to rhythm and a different sensitivity. So even more than the boys, the girls were making it up as they went along. And I think that gave the music a kind of a bit of a confrontational freshness and made it also a lot of fun. It was so boring all those years where there was only blokes in bands, also full of themselves, boy, or should I say girl, you know. So it really was a breath of fresh air. And I think without it, I don't know how I would have got through. You know, just being the only female, being somewhat harassed all the time in every way.
The idea of chaos was very interesting to us, and we definitely kind of wanted to mess things up a bit, kind of break the mold to some degree. And it was great to be allowed to make our own noise, to make our own mess, to make our own mistakes, to be creative. And one of the things we did was to record a version of Lola, the Kinks song Lola, which is a brilliant song of chaos, sexual, gender chaos, and you know, being a mixed up, muddled up, shook up world. And that's definitely part of what was happening in our lives. Everything was mixed up, muddled up and shook up. And there we say thank heavens for punk, you know.
Dennis Bovell had produced Cut, the Slits album. Fantastic. We went in the studio with him, and London Records had us covering one of their numbers. All the music that we had, oh no, do a cover because they'd get the money for it, you know, businessmen. And Dennis Bovell did this incredible mix. He worked with us, he played with us. You know, I remember dropping in bass lines, and it was fabulous. And then we did the dub cut, and he did so many, he kept doing it, and I kept saying it's not good enough, because I knew my dub. And I said, you can do better, and he did. And we had this single, which was wonderful, and London Records said, it's not commercial enough.
We went to make the single, and it was an incredibly exciting time making the single. It fills me with butterflies just thinking about it, and so it was really profound to be listened to. And I think you know, probably as a young woman I wasn't really expecting to be listened to, and suddenly I found that actually there were people who were interested in what we as a group had to say and what we thought and what we felt, and that was amazing.
But Fairy Tale in the Supermarket, which was the first song we released, that with In Love with the first one of mine, I wrote that after I watched the program about polystyrene and X-ray specs, and I kind of thought there was something that was said about the program, or it was because of the program, the whole thing. It was about her writing. I felt that her songs were like fairy tales in supermarkets because they were a bit fairy tale-y, but it was all to do with consumerism and kind of everyday life. And I just thought, oh, they're fairy tales in the supermarket, and I just wrote that song.
The Spice Girls was sort of a jokey mutation of it, made to cash money, cash in money on the idea of free-spirited females.
Fuck off, girl power my ass.
But genuinely, Amy Winehouse, Lily Allen, Lily Allen in particular, because she also has the reggae influence that was so important in punk. And the reggae influence also meant, I noticed one thing about a lot of women groups, that I think it's a yin and yang thing. Our voices are higher and lighter and so on, and we really gravitate to the bass very much. And I've always thought that was some sort of balance with our kind of slightly lighter beings, that we like that solidity of the bass, because a lot of the female music is quite bass heavy.